Bridge the Gap Ministry, a live hour-long webcast where we will be talking about what makes us different, what we have in common, and how we bridge the gap. This is a casual conversation powered by webcastonelive.com. Let's get started. Now your host, Mike Ahmed.
Well, praise God. I am so glad you're here with us today. Talking to you from Des Moines, Iowa, God's country. It's a beautiful day out there. It's been raining on and off. We had a few storms. Thank God. We've been praying for Oklahoma. More Oklahoma. We have been, and I hope you have been as well. And I hope you get involved in this. Because I tell you, there is a seed time and there is a harvest time. Whatever you sow, that you also reap. I can't emphasize that enough. It is seed time for you and I hope you take that to heart. Find out how it is. Be careful. There is a lot of crooks out there. But we do have, at Lutheran Church of Hope, we do have a funding and an organization going about that. There are others, Red Cross, there is others. But get involved. The main thing is get involved in prayers because it's needed. It's needed. We have here, right here in Iowa, we have a little taste. We felt some of that here, but we didn't have hardly any of the devastation. So I do pray that we do. I mean, God created all of us to be together in spirit and in truth, in thoughts, in action. Find out what you can do. There is nothing too small for you to do today. It's not. The thought, the prayers, the Facebook encouragements, whatever it is, you can do something. Do something about it. And I'm glad you're here with us today. I am glad to have my wife, and I am glad to have Ryan, our producer. But, most exciting part, I'm excited about every one of them here, but particularly my friend Mate.
You butchers the English accent again.
How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right, mate. I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm glad. I've been dodging the storms, but you can't. I can't fathom the Oklahoma thing. It's incredible how it just destroyed that. And because when I first heard about it, I was just assuming it was like on the edge of like you get devastation on the edge when houses are on their own, but it was right in the middle of a little suburb, wasn't it? It wasn't even. So it was, that's going to be some tough recovery.
It is. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. It was 99 or something like that. Not too long ago. I mean, 10, 14 years ago.
Right. I saw something about the one in the hurricane in Iowa. It was 5 years ago. I put the one in Parkers, that one. Where was
the tornado.
Parkersburg. Parkersburg. That was 5 years ago. And it's amazing how they've you look at that. They've rebuilt that community. A lot of the building, about 70% of them. But it's amazing. But that was 5 years ago too. I couldn't even. That's gone like that. That's gone fast too. Yeah. But the ones that lose kids, that's the tough. I mean, to lose a house is devastating, but you can put a house back together. But losing a child or a relative.
It is.
There's no. You can't. You can't ever fix that.
You can't. I mean, I've experienced. I lived in Oklahoma. I went to Bible college there.
Right.
And I lived there for 6.5 years. And I've been in a couple of tornadoes, and I've watched one, but I've been in a couple personally in Oklahoma, and it's crazy the thought of it. You had all these. You're living there. I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma is a tornado alley.
Right.
And I was sleeping in the middle of the night, and all my children were very small. And I was sleeping, and all of a sudden, I woke up from dead sleep. I mean, I just woke up straight up because it was so still. It was so quiet.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever experienced any like this. I can't describe the quietness. It was so quiet. I mean, to paint the picture and say, you'll hear a drop of a pen or whatever, that is even worse than that. I mean, it was so quiet. And they say that's right before it happens.
Right.
Sure. I got up. I just shot up and sat there. And I don't know, it was so quiet. And I just shot out of bed, start pulling all my children, putting them, I mean, they're asleep in the middle of the night. I just took them, put them in the bathtub, in the interior bathroom, putting them there, and they're screaming because you're woken them up from asleep.
Right.
I mean, I don't have time to explain. I had the urgency in my heart. I pulled them, I put each one of them, and they want to run behind me, and I'm screaming at them. And imagine the chaos. And I got him to stay there. Their mom, finally got coherent. She wasn't the greatest to wake up out of a dead sleep either. I mean, there was just like, what's going on, and it's crazy. And by the time I got to my last child, is in the crib, my windows were already just blown out. I mean, the water was shooting inside. The pressure, you can feel it. The trees, you can see them hanging sideways. We have a creek right there, and you can see that water rotating. It's been sucked. And I'm within inches of my daughter, and it's like you're in a sleep. Have you ever been in a sleep where you feel like, that slow motion? Have you ever been in a dream like that? Have you had that dream?
Can you reenact it though? Do one more time.
I've never seen it.
Slow motion. It was
Yes.
horrible. Slow motion. And within inches from her, and just the pressure just pulling me back. And I prayed, and I grabbed her from there and made it to the bathtub.
How much damage was done to your house?
Was not much damage in my house. Next door, the tornado took out the chimney and shot it in the house right across the street, right through the house. And there was a lot of damage. There was some damage to the roof of our house and, on the siding. But right across the street, our Bible college, and then a few streets down, there was Walmart. And there was a pond at Rhema at those days. That's the Bible college I went to. And it had ducks and swans, and it's a beautiful place. The tornado picked up the water and the ducks and the swans, whatever was in there, picked it up, took the roof off of Walmart, which is a couple of streets down or just down the street, took the roof off of it and dumped the content of that pond into Walmart. And it was on the news that those ducks were walking around at Walmart. I mean, it's the craziest thing you can ever imagine.
Right. How many did they have every year? Did they have one a year?
Oh, they had plenty. I mean, I went
It's
time.
hot. I've been down. I did a camp when I first come out here. I did a camp there in even 1995 in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And it was so humid. I mean,
Yeah.
hot,
Oh,
dry,
yes,
dry
yes.
heat.
Yeah.
It was so hot. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd play for 5 minutes and then get a drink.
Oh yeah. I remember I had a shop over there. I mean, you'd have to strap one of those backpack with water in your mouth. I mean, when
Right.
you're working on cars, and I used to race cars.
Right.
I mean, we were drenched
Right.
all the time because the humidity
Yeah.
was so high, and And when we were racing cars, and that was, that's definitely does not help the matter by all
Right.
means. And I used to drag race quarter of a mile,
Okay.
and one other time I was driving and everybody pulled over, and I'm going like, I can make it, and before I know it, I didn't have no steering wheel. My car was up. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. There are other times where they says it was in Claremore. We lived in Broken Arrow, and you can see it. I mean, we step outside and you can see it. You can see it on the ground. I mean, it's devastating. I was taking an internship as an associate pastor in a church in a town called Chelsea, Oklahoma, not very far from Tulsa, and we had to take shelter. We were in Tulsa, and it happened. It touched down in Claremore and at Chelsea, Oklahoma, and it just flattened it out. All our parishioners, a lot of people were hurt, and a lot of people were devastated financially because of it. So it's fascinating. I mean, it's a fascinating matter. I mean, definitely you need to understand it is not the will of God. It is not the will of God.
I was going to ask you that. So why does?
Why
So
does
what would you say to people who said that? Think it's something God's behind these things. I know I don't believe that, but people do.
Oh, yes.
What would you say to people that would say that?
I will say you really do need to know God's character. You need to know His track records.
Right.
He's not out there to hurt you. He's not out there to watch you getting hurt and sit back and watch you. That is not a fact. I mean, would you if I was your dad? I mean, I have 4 children. I love them with all my heart. I give my life to them. I give them everything I have and then some.
Right.
And I wish I could do more. But there was times where I did not come through for them for one reason or another. Would they just write me off because of that one time?
Right. Well, what do you say to people? And again, I was just reading a blog on the internet today, and it was talking about that God destroyed when God, and again, it's put it in context, but when God destroyed nations or took out people, or in the Old Testament particularly, what would you say to that? Because he did, didn't he?
Well, he did. That's a fact. But you remember, he's already given us the explanations and the reasons. I mean, those nations, that they were beyond imagination. I mean, just leaving these nations there would have hurt other innocent people.
Right.
That's the only that he and I mean, not the only reason, but what I'm saying, that was the main reason for his intervention.
So my follow-up question will be, why did he not? And maybe there's an answer to it, and there is. And I would have a sort of an answer, but why did he not intervene in, say, Nazi Germany? Or maybe he did intervene.
Maybe he did intervene. I mean, there was a time. I have one of the main things that taught me a lot about God is being a father.
Right.
And just looking at myself, and many times, and somebody will ask, why doesn't God answer prayers, or why didn't God answer the prayers the way I prayed?
Right.
And remind me that as a father, there was times where my children will come to me and say, how come my sister didn't get the same punishment for the same offense?
Right.
And I say, well, because you are all individuals. I treat you as individuals. Each one of you is unique. Each one of you is special. Each one of you is individual. You're not a cookie cutter. You did not. And so therefore I treat you as an individual. And you needed to learn that.
Right.
So, and there was other times when I buy gifts for them when I traveled. I come home and I bring gifts with them, and they will fight. Well, how come I didn't get, I didn't get this one, or I get that one, And and my answer was, because you're individuals. You mean to me different than the other one means to me, because each one of you have a special part in my heart, and I treat you that way. Then I have times where, when they turn 16, well, how come I didn't get the same thing as on my 16th birthday as she did?
Right.
Or how come you didn't let me? I mean, my oldest one said, how come you didn't let me go to prom?
You're making me glad I've only got one little one, actually.
What's that?
You're making me glad I've only got one little daughter.
Oh, I have 4.
I know.
Yes.
I've got a stepdaughter, but she's a lot older, so that's okay. But
yes. And I answered. I said, because you're an individual, and I treat you as such. And there are times where they needing something, and I could have went ahead and got it. I could have just handed it to them. I could have just says, here, you can take it, or here's the money for it. But I felt my responsibility was to guide him, to teach him how to save up for it, how to start, trim the fat from around their spending habits, to establish a better spending habits, to get to where they wanted to get. And with all of this, it taught me, how does God the Father respond to us in a lot of ways? Because he's omnipotent, he's omniscient, he's all-knowing. He knows the end from the beginning. He is our creator. He knows everything about us. And as a father, that there might be a time where there is an answer as not yet.
Right.
But a lot of the times we take the answer as not yet as a no.
Right.
And we get devastated. We get upset. And we treat him like a vending machine.
Right.
I've put the quarter, but I get my pop.
That's a good analogy.
You ask me for obedience, then I should get this because I did my obedience. Well, that's a vending machine mentality.
Right.
And we do that. And my children treated me that way. It hurt my heart to an extent, but that's a human nature that always takes over.
Right.
And we have to be careful with that. Why didn't God stop the tornado from coming? I will say this. I don't know if he didn't stop more of it.
Right.
There was a picture of. I wish I have that. It was a picture of Jesus. And there was a bunch of big boulders, rocks falling. There was a little guy, crawling a ball. And it was just a bunch of rocks, big, huge rocks would have just crushed him. And Jesus was over him, hovering over him like this. And the rocks bouncing off of Jesus, getting all the hits by the big ones. And there was one slip between his ear and between his arm, just came down and hit the guy that is crawling a ball in the head, just so to give him a knot in the head. That's all it did. And all the big ones, Jesus protected him from it. And that one that gave him the knot made the guy just cry. It was like, why did you let this happen to me? I thought you were there. I thought you loved me. But he didn't see the whole picture.
Right, which we don't.
There was a lot more that was coming. There was a lot more intent to kill him that didn't kill him. But there was just that one. And Jesus in that picture answer was, I'm sorry. It doesn't mean his ability is limited, but we do have things in our world, things we do, things are sowing and reaping. Our action sometimes limits him from a certain things.
Right.
And not only that, but the way he established our relationship, he's given us the lease over everything, over the earth.
Right.
We're going to take a quick break and we come back on this note. We want to hear from our sponsor and from you as well. Please call us 1-855-244-0077 or chat with us live. Would love to hear from you. We'll be right back.
Dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Yes, now your favorite programs on Webcast One Live can all be watched and listened to on any Android or Apple device. Your phone, tablet, or iPad. Yes, your favorite shows on Webcast One Live are available live or on podcast wherever you go. Let me introduce to you some of our great shows.
I'm Michael Libby. I'm the host of Insight on Business, the News Hour. We're seen live at 8:45 each Monday morning at Webcast One Live or whenever you want on my blog or on the internet. So what qualifies me to talk about advertising, marketing, and consumer trends? Well, it's my business. Insight Advertising, Marketing, and Communications has helped dozens of companies, small, medium, and large, learn how to use advertising correctly. And we pass that information on to you each and every week.
Well, hi. My name is Mike Ahmed, and I host the show Bridge the Gap Ministry. Our vision is to bridge the gap between cultures, and what we use the Word of God, and because His riches in that Word and the wisdom is what brings us together. So we learn the Word, we speak the Word, and we practice the Word on this show every Thursday. Don't miss it. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
So when you want to watch your favorite Webcast One program, remember, there's an app for that. You know, there's an app for that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
Welcome back to Bridge the Gap Ministry. We believe Jesus is God and want you to join His kingdom and our conversation at 1-855-244-0077. Now here's our host, Mike Ahmed.
Well, praise God. We're back, and we'd love to hear from you. Please call us at 1-855-244-0077 or chat with us live. And or you can visit us on our website, bridgethegapministry.com. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you've been experiencing with this show. What would you like to hear? Anything. Just let us know that you're that you're hearing from us, that you would like for the show to continue as well, and at what capacity. If you have suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Or we are on Facebook, and you can like us on Facebook, and a lot of the times we put some comments and some things on there. You'll be greatly blessed. Anyway, before we took a break, we were talking as Matthew was asking me, and I was answering him about the topic concerning God. Why couldn't he have intervened?
Right. Well, I mean that's a question. Well, people always ask that question.
Yeah.
Even in faith, they'll ask that question.
Right.
I don't think it's unreasonable, is it?
Well, it's not an unreasonable question. It is not.
Because if it's a genuine question, I think it shows a faith in God that God can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is a genuine question, but we might want to make sure that we are avoiding the fact that we're not treating God as, in my wallet. I'll give that example. I'm always. A lot of the times I give long answer for a short question. My wife says that.
Shocking.
But in my wallet, I do have, 3 cards, 3 credit cards.
Don't flash the numbers.
I don't flash the numbers. One is mine, one is ours, and one is emergency.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And just in case, I don't know why, but the one that is considered the emergency card is, I call it, pulling the big guns. This is something awfully went wrong, and it needs it, and I need to do that. I mean, my wife and I, we always make fun of each other when we leave the house. A lot of times we get on our motorcycle, and my wife will always, say, okay, because she have to leave her purse. It's a huge for a woman, leaving her purse.
I am so glad we don't have purses, mate. Or wallet. We've got wallets, but I don't even use a wallet.
I know. I mean, back in all of Europe and in Egypt and stuff, they had that thing. What is it?
MERS.
What is it called?
The MERS, the man purse.
The man purse. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah. No, not for me, mate.
Not for me. Not for me, mate.
The only time I have anything resembling that is when I travel and I've got my passport and everything. I like to have my passport and everything in one thing. I have one of those cases. That's it. But it's like a little thing that you could strap around.
But you'll see it. It's strapped around.
Yeah, I don't strap it around me, but it is it will be like that. Yeah. But I would never strap it round.
One time I carried anything that resemblance, but you could never see it.
Right.
It was actually, I bought it online, whether online or somewhere, a traveling shop. But it's underneath the shirt, and it goes in your pants, and you put your passport and your money,
right.
And it's strapped around your waist, but nobody can see it.
Right.
That's, I don't know, what is that called? Have you seen those ones?
Mm-hmm. I think I know what you're talking about.
And that's it.
What were we?
Anyway,
credit card.
The credit card. So
what were we talking?
Yeah,
I hope somebody can remember.
You'll always find that out with me. I can go around in 15 rabbit trails, and I still know where I'm going, where I'm at. But a lot of the times, we have to be careful not to treat God as that emergency credit card, that I can pull it when everything else fails.
Right.
If it's really an emergency, if it's really, because all the other ones we use it with a purpose, we use it with a budget, we use it. But this one, if this is really, needed.
Right.
And we pull that out and we expect it to work. We expect it because we know this one, if everything else goes wrong with the others, this one will always work because that's the emergency one. And a lot of the times we have to be careful that we don't approach the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Creator, the one that is above all, the one that created all, the one that His word can make us or break us, the one that have the authority to keep us alive or to take our life, the one that have the say-so, to approach Him with that attitude.
Right, so here's a question for you, because I hear stories of people who just cry out to God in what would seem to be their desperation.
Yes.
And they have their prayers answered.
Yes.
So does that go back to what you said about treating everybody differently?
Yes.
God knows that person's heart.
God knows you. God knows your heart. God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. But He said that in Hebrews 13:5. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I will never, 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 never. But have you been with Him? Right. I'm not saying that's what happened in Oklahoma is because people were not with Him. That's ludicrous. That is, I'm just throwing out there possibilities.
Right.
Where does it come from? I have my children approach me before. It was like, Dad, my car broke down. My babysitter got sick, can't be there. I have to be at work. You have all the means to help me. You can take your grandson to watch him. You can give me your car to go to work.
Right.
And I was not able to. Why was I not able to? And my daughter lost her job. Well, why wasn't I able to? I had a different plan. I had an additional plans. I was not counting on this. I was in the middle of something I could not drop.
Right.
I could not. I was in the middle of something I could not drop. And the fact is, for her lost her job, for that, has taught her to have plan B. I'm not the calling card.
Right. She
treated me as the calling card, which is at that time, that calling card failed.
Right.
I'm not upset with her for treating me as a calling card, but that calling card failed, not me. It was not me that failed. It's the concept that failed.
Right.
I couldn't. I did. I beat myself over the head. I dealt with myself harshly over it to find her without a job because I could not come through for her. And my mind was attacked with, I could have come through for her. Oh, I could have done this or I could have done that. But that's hindsight.
Yeah.
You know? And God revealed to me, it was not you that failed as a father and as a grandfather, as a head of this tribe.
Good description.
No, it was a concept. The calling card concept failed. So when Jesus says, I will never leave you, when God says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, that means there has been a relationship.
Right.
There has been an ongoing relationship.
Right.
There has been a union.
Because you can't leave somebody you've never
been together.
Right. When Jesus said, is it somewhere in John, in this world you're going to have trouble?
Correct. And not only that, but look at this. There is another reason a lot of people look at why is these things happen and take place. I don't know, but at least I can look back in the Word of God and unplug something in. I'm not saying that is the only reason, but that is definitely one of them. When God created the heavens and the earth in Genesis chapter 1, God created everything. God created the heavens, the earth, the sun, the moon, the galaxies, everything. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Then God says, verse 26, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Look at this. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth. Over all the earth. There was a student in the same Bible college I went to, made a study in every language in the world to try to translate the word all. Came back with the conclusion that the all means all.
Right.
And all the earth. He says.
So we've not made a good job of looking at. I mean, because you look at a lot of things.
That's it.
You look at a lot of things.
He said this. Look at this. He said, verse 28. Blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. Subdue it. It means. You know what a word subdue means?
Yes.
You ever subdued somebody?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever? Yes.
Subdue. Yeah, made them
surrender.
Yeah.
You made them surrender, right?
Yeah.
Tab.
Nicely.
I mean, I wrestled.
Some players I coach, I make them agree with me.
Yes.
We talked for a little bit and agreed that I was right at the end of it.
Yes.
I borrowed that line off somebody else, but it is true for me as well sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
Subdue it means.
It says subdue it and have dominion over it. He said, so that's chapter 1, verse 26, 27, 28. And so there is a lot of things here. In another word, when God says you have dominion over it, it will be like this. I'll give you the example. I have a rental property and I rent it to you. I leased you the apartment or the house for a year. This is the term of our agreement. You are going to take care of the property. You're going to make sure that, that it looks good.
Right.
But I can't, you can't cook meth in there. You can't, certain things I can tell you can't do. But it's your dwelling place now. I can't tell you who do you have come over.
Right.
I can't tell you can't have somebody that, that killed, their whole family and harbored them. I can't tell you that. I mean, you just went crazy. You have a heart of gold, which is I know that you are, Matty. And somebody came and, and you allowed them into your house because you felt sorry for them, but you didn't know that they were murderers, and they leave you're asleep, and they, God forbid, killed your family, killed the next door neighbors, and this and that, and you can't cry to me and you say, Mike, that was your house. I leased it from you. Why didn't you protect me?
Right. Yeah, I understand. I get it.
I didn't tell you not to,
Yeah, I mean,
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of
There's a lot. I mean,
with some of the disasters that happen, a lot, you can see where, I mean, I think people struggle, or we all maybe struggle a little bit with the ones where we don't see the connection between what we've done.
That's what I'm saying.
We can, we talk about, there is, I mean, you'd never minimize what happened in Oklahoma, but tornadoes happen, not tornadoes in that sense, but tornadoes happen around the world all the time.
All the time.
I mean, people die, 24,000 children die of lack of nourishment every day.
Correct.
Well, I can see, the thing is, as bad as that is, I can see that that's our fault. I can see the connection.
I can see the connection.
And there's lots of other factors. There's lots of, it's not just, but it is, but it's, there's lots of factors that are involved in that.
Yes.
But I mean, but you can see that there's enough food to go around.
Yeah.
And we just don't deal with it right. We don't make it a priority. Lots of different things. And then the things with the tornadoes and the tsunamis, we just don't know. We don't see why. We don't understand why these things happen.
We don't understand the connection. And we have to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll come back. All right. Don't go away. Well, see, Matt is already on the roll here. So better listen. We'll come right back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I am administrative manager.
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of the guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going, though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
If you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
Welcome back to Bridge the Gap Ministry. We believe Jesus is God and wants you to join His kingdom and our conversation at 1-855-244-0077. Now here's our host, Mike Ahmed.
Well, praise God. All right. Well, let's pick up the thought.
Well, it's 3 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the thing with tornadoes and tsunamis, random things we just struggle. I think we find difficult because we can't explain.
Right.
We talked about wars and problems with hunger and food distribution. We recognize that there's enough, for example, there's enough food to go around.
Right.
We just don't make it a priority, and it's our doing.
Right.
And I think wars are our doing.
Yes.
Right or wrong, but there's the whole cycle of it. And then, but we can, I don't want to say explain it away because it minimalizes it a little bit, but there's a logical, something we understand. We can understand our response. Even some health things, we don't understand. We eat garbage, don't we? Mm-hmm. And we don't look after. I mean, Pastor Mike sermon a couple of weeks ago about healthy bodies. Right. It was about a lot of the things were things like we just don't look after ourselves, and then we complain.
I know, but we do miss the desserts for Alpha now. They took that away. When actually I started a new thing, but I didn't want to rat on myself. I started it yesterday that everybody's going to bring a dessert.
Oh, okay. So Pastor Mike preaches about eating greens and vegetables and resting, and Mike Ahmed's talking to the listening millions to say, "Oh, bring a dessert to us." You doing Alpha this time too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm doing it in the morning.
Because they were going there, and all these apples are there. Now, maybe there was a couple of people who took apples.
Well, I did after that healthy body sermon, Pastor Mike's healthy body sermon. I bought a load of vegetables. I'm committed. I'm trying to eat better. But that's the point. A lot of these things we don't. I'm going like you now. A lot of these things we have bad health, and then we complain about it, and yet we don't always do the right things.
Right.
And don't look after ourselves. So. But sometimes the tornadoes and the tsunamis.
It's harder to see the connection.
You can't see the connection
because you think it's a supernatural.
Yeah, it's a random thing, and that tsunami. I mean, tornadoes and tsunamis are just hit randomly. Right. They get warnings, and there's no time to do anything about it.
Right.
I mean, it's.
But I understand where you're coming from. But let us before we actually take that and answer that. Let's define. 2 words: supernatural versus spectacular. There's a huge difference between supernatural and the spectacular. I will define that.
All right.
Spectacular, a tornado, a tsunami, that kind of stuff,
right.
A hurricane, that's spectacular.
Right.
But a lot of people think of that as a supernatural. No, it's a spectacular. It's a spectacular because there is. Quickly, it's explained. This is high pressure and low pressures, cold and hot when they meet together. This is what it produces.
Right.
That's a spectacular. This is a spectacular act. A supernatural is your salvation mind.
Right.
That is a supernatural. Supernatural is we were created in God's image. What's in our DNA? How is that goes? How is that comes? How did this produce? Scientifically, it can be explained and it become a spectacular, but a supernatural is existed from nothing. It existed from God. You can only trace it back to God.
Right.
That's why it is supernatural. How can one man save the whole world by his death? And that's Jesus Christ. That is supernatural. How can confession of one man's ability to resist sin and to remain righteous and die as a sinner to save you and I, that's supernatural.
Right.
So a lot of the times we look at tornadoes, hurricanes, these things as it is a supernatural. No, it is not. It's a spectacular. It's a spectacular.
Yeah, because it's scientific. You can scientifically.
Scientifically
scientific explain. Yeah, you're right. I mean, even in the science centre, they do these little bubbles, wind bubbles, and these little things that.
Right.
And there's different factors.
We can recreate them.
Yeah, little mini
But
ones.
you can't recreate a human being. You can't recreate salvation. You can't recreate.
You can't No, you can't explain. You can't explain things that. You can't explain love.
Correct.
For example.
Yes.
But you can't. No scientist in the world has ever been able to explain that.
Right. No.
Emotions, feelings, and
yes,
can't explain it.
Yes.
You can explain what's happening, but you can't really. You can sometimes explain the real result of it, but you can't explain it. There's no. No, I've never thought of that before. Yeah.
So if it's a spectacular, there was something to be done that could have prevented. We just have not arrived to it.
Right.
So let's look at.
But we blame. But it's not the world blames God for those things
because we says, "Oh, it's beyond our power." Wait just a minute. There has been, which is at this time I would have to say, I don't know why is his name popped to my head, but I'll go ahead. I mean, the global warming and. I'm not making fun of it, but the person that talks about it more, which is Al Gore.
Right.
I don't really care for his personality by all means, and where is he at, where he stands, and I'm saying that on a webcast. Look at all the stuff that he talks about. The cause of a lot of global warming, of a lot of things. A lot of our action in destroying that Hiroshima bomb, the effect of it, and the effect of it that affected the core of the sea and the core of the earth,
right?
And the shifting that could take this many years,
right?
And we saw the explanations of how the tsunami happened and how the shifting on the bottom, the oceans have taken place, and part of it collapses and a part of it remains.
Because I don't think we would ever meant to put that bomb on Hiroshima.
No.
I don't think, and I can say we because Britain were pretty much a part of it as anybody else.
Well,
but you think of that though. You think of things like that. You will find out one day.
Yeah,
we'll find out just what we've done.
What we've done.
Yeah.
Yes. What we have done. And going back again, God has given us dominion over everything. He said, over all the earth. Over all the earth. And just like I gave you the example, you rented from me. So I've given you that lease.
Right.
I couldn't protect you from what you brought into your house. If you brought toxic chemicals into my house,
right,
that I leased to you, and it killed you, you come back to me and say, "Hey, mate."
Well, if it killed me, I wouldn't be saying, "Hey, mate."
Well, I died in your house. Just say we met in hell later on, or in heaven. I don't know.
I'm hoping heaven.
I hope.
That's probably on the wrong show.
Yeah, it will be a wrong show.
No,
and you say, I died in your house. And I would say, I had nothing to do with it, dummy. Right. You brought that stuff in.
Right.
Am I correct?
No, I'm
not saying this is the only answer, but the comforting answer I will leave with everyone on this topic is it could have been worse. It could have been worse. You say, how could it be worse when I lost a child? Or how could it be worse than losing everything I have, or losing my husband, or losing my wife, or losing my relative? There is a lot more. I want to leave you with this thought. Only tomorrow will make sense of today. We're today. This has happened today. or we're right in the middle of it, it can make sense later on. If you're still alive, still breathing, look what it's bringing. It's bringing the whole world together. This is how we started our show.
Right.
Please help. Please be there. Please give. Please show compassion. Please pray. It impacted all others in many ways. Impacted is bringing all of us together, that's what we were meant to be. I have a story to tell you. It was awesome. Heard that at Alpha from one of the people that I'm hosting, one of the guests. He's a doctor. He's a well-known surgeon. And he said his grandson was in the house. And his grandson, his father, and had to leave with other children, going to horseback riding, and he was 3 years old. Anyway, and they were trying to backing up the trailer with the horses, and they left the child in the house, with others around. But the 3 years old have ability to just be invisible.
Right.
Got out and got ran over by the truck by his own father. Ran him over and killed him. The child had, and I'm trying to say the story very, give the short version of it, but I wish I had enough time to tell the long version because it impacted me. It impacted everybody. And they were at home at about 7 o'clock, and all the neighbors and everybody come in to, comfort them. My friend that told the story made it over there and is devastated. That's his grandson. And of course, his parents are devastated. Well, the boy that died had a best friend. And he came looking for him. His best friend was 5 years old, the one that's still alive. But the one that died was 3 years old. And he came and he was like, why is everybody crying? What is the matter? Where is so-and-so? I forgot the name of the child that died. And his mother, because she was a neighbor, as well, and she was just answering the one, she said, the boy went home to be with Jesus. And the boy, 5 years old, look at it. He says, that is his lucky day.
Wow.
Or something like, what a lucky guy. Something to that. I'm not quoting it, but on that effect, that was his lucky day. Everybody going from crying to rejoicing, not because he died, but to rejoice because it was a lucky day.
Yep.
It was his time. His time was here on the earth to impact him to that extent.
Right.
Did Jesus take him? He received him. He didn't snatch him. He didn't take him. He received him.
Right.
And a 5 years old knows that.
And maybe witness to 20, 30 people there who didn't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't know the answer, but we do know the Comforter. He's the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of the living God, he says. Jesus told his disciples, I'm not going to leave you comfortless. I'm not going to leave you. Don't worry about it. Because they were worried about if he leaves, now they're going to be alone. He says, no. He said, when I leave, it is better, so I can send you another comforter. He is the Holy Spirit. He will show you things to come. He will teach you things. He will take of me and explain to you. His name is the Holy Spirit. Welcome Him into your life and ask Him to show you. Ask Him to teach you. Ask Him to reveal to you, to explain. He's eager to explain. Why don't you ask Him? Until next time, may God bless you. May God give you favor and comfort you with the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bye-bye.